Hey y'all. So I am doing a bit better and I wanted to come back today and share some more information with you because you are my faves. You just are, okay? So, if indeed this is your first time here at Wonderfully Me, then I want to say you are more than welcome. Okay? As they say in Swahili, they say karibu sana. Very welcome, okay? And if you are returning, you know what it is, fam. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay? I'm so happy that you have chosen to spend your time with me because it means the world to me that I get to share my world with you. Okay? So, let's get into it. I've been recovering from a flare up of my fibromyalgia. And I've been sort of sharing some of the challenges that I've been experiencing um, living with this living with this chronic illness for many years now. And it has definitely impacted the way that I am able to manage life in the US in terms of like what medications I take and what things that I do or whatever. But as I've kind of been sharing, I'm a person who absolutely loves to travel, and having a chronic illness definitely impacts that travel. It impacts the way that I am able to enjoy certain activities, and it also impacts the way that I'm actually able to manage the transportation that I might take or the accommodations that could be acceptable or easy for me. So um I have mentioned in the past that I have stayed in hostels, which everybody is still trying to wrap their mind around, especially since I didn't even start staying in hostels until I was, um, I believe, in my 40s. Yeah, I was in my 40s when I started. And another way that I only did it once at the urging of my travel guru, um, Brentito. But I did couch surfing one time, and this uh, couch surfing is a service. When I signed up for it, it actually was 100% free. Um, I didn't have to pay anything, and the people who were hosting didn't have to pay anything. But over the years, I guess because like I said, I really hadn't kept up with it. But when I checked recently, couch surfing is now they have a fee that you pay you can pay it yearly or monthly, kind of as you need it, and it was still nominal. It was like less than $20, I believe, for the whole year. So well worth it. I only used it the one time, and my one experience, somebody might think like, oh, one time must not have been great. My one experience was exceptional. It was absolutely wonderful. So I was going to the Netherlands, and I wanted to spend some time there. I had been to like Amsterdam a couple of times, but never really had a chance to sort of dive into community while I was there. So I found a host in Den Haag, or people know it as Americans might know it as The Hague, right? That's what Den Haag means. And The Hague is where they have the huge international court, and not huge in the sense that not huge in the sense that it's the biggest court in the world. No, huge in the way that its impact on international politics and such, right? So when they have like people with war crimes, they are usually tried at The Hague, right? Like serious issues. At any rate, I had put out feelers to multiple people. You sort of write a little introduction, and then you see who would be willing to host you. And I had written an introduction, and I said these are the dates that I would be there, and I was wondering if these different people would be willing to host me. And as luck would have it, there was a woman, a single mom, and she had a daughter, and she was willing to host me. And the thing that was so interesting was, one of the reasons why she decided to host me was because I was this non-traditional traveler, right? Like, she didn't expect that someone my age, which was roughly her age, would be, traveling solo and need to sleep on her couch. So, and another thing, because she had a daughter, she typically only hosted folks on the weekends. But I was coming in, like, I want to say maybe on a Wednesday, and so it was going to be during the week, partially during the week. I think I was staying like Wednesday through Saturday or something, or Wednesday through Sunday, and I don't know. I guess there was something in the fact that I was similar age to this host, and something that I wrote that piqued her interest, and so she said yes. So I was like, okay, great. So it's really interesting that you're gonna sign up to stay at someone's home that you have no idea about, and you're not sure what you're walking into, right? It could be like a hot, nasty mess or something. Like, you just don't know. But the other information, the other people who had stayed there, who gave reviews, said that she was nice or whatever, right? So I figured, like, how bad can it be? So I took the train because I flew into Amsterdam. I took the train from Amsterdam to Den Haag, and she met me at the train station. But this thing that shocked me. Now I already knew that the Netherlands was really big on bikes, but what I didn't understand fully, because Amsterdam is such a big city with so many cars and stuff, I didn't realize that in other parts of the country, like, bikes is like the main way of getting around. Like, I knew that bikes were big, but I didn't realize how big. Like, I get off the train and I see a bike parking lot. I'm telling you, it was levels of bike parking. Just bike parking. Like, it floored me. Like, I'm saying, like, you get off the train and, like, there's like 10,000 bikes at the train station just parked. Like, it like blew my mind. I was like, what in the world? Like, it was just my first introduction into true Dutch culture, right? It was amazing. So I'm just like, I'm looking at that, and then I think it had started drizzling a bit, because the weather there is, I don't want to say unpredictable, but like a little similar, not quite as bad as like London, but sort of similar to London. And it was some showers, and so I was with my umbrella waiting for my host to show up, and she came around the corner. And let me say this, because I've been some places where I'm like the only person of color, yes, but in this particular experience, that wasn't the case. But I am, when describing myself, I'm sure that I said I'm this 40 plus year old 6 foot I'm not quite 6 feet, but very close. Foot woman, very buxom, and so like what kind of the way I describe myself, like it's sort of like lets people know that I am not necessarily looking like everybody else. So it's kind of easy to spot me, which was the point that I was making. And Vilma comes up and she's like, Robin, and I'm like, Vilma, and then yes, we were like, oh, and she was a fairly petite woman, about my age, and she was so cool, and she had she wasn't her daughter was at school when she met me, and we were just talking, and she was really like a creative, and she was just very politically active in her community, and she was just like bad ass. She was awesome. She was absolutely awesome, and she made me feel so comfortable for my one and only. I didn't know it would be my one and only, but my one and only travel couch surfing experience. She let me know that I was more than welcome at her home, and she showed me around. And there were things that were very different. Let me say that. So this was my first time experiencing Dutch stairs. I don't know anyone who's ever been to the Netherlands, but if you get to go to a real Dutch community, you're going to find out what Dutch stairs are. Let me say one word when I describe Dutch stairs. Steep. Very steep. Okay? I'm telling you, steep, like, is this a ladder? Steep. Okay? So, yeah, I did the whole, I wish I had some, I need something for my lips. My lips are feeling a little dry. So, she did the whole show me around. Yeah, thank you. Excuse me, y'all. Yeah, we all friends here, so, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But anyway, she did the whole show me around where everything was, and I was shocked. Firstly, she lived in a like old, she explained it to me, but I can't recall exactly, but it was like housing that was for the people in the industry that was in that area. I don't recall exactly what that was, but these I want to say it was like built like around wartime, so it was like maybe World War II-ish. And so these buildings were divided into, I think a family could stay on the first floor or something like that, and then the upper floor was for like singles, or I forget. She explained it to me, but listen, it's the memory. At any rate, you had to walk up these Dutch stairs. When you got to the top of these Dutch stairs, so I want to explain it. In this building, it's just like two, like one family is on the ground floor, and then you had the other door led to these Dutch stairs. So when you opened her door, which led to the Dutch stairs, there was at the top another door. So I was like, well, what's this door? Actually, there were two doors. And I said, well, what's this door? She said, oh, that's the toilet. I said, oh, so the toilet is outside the apartment? And she said, yeah, well, technically this whole staircase and thing is part of the apartment. I said, oh, okay. So that was the first thing that kind of got me. Like, I was like, okay. So when she opened the door to the toilet, the first thing I said was, so where's the sink? She said, oh, the sink, you can use the sink in the kitchen. So first my antennas is going up, because I'm like, you go to the bathroom and then you gotta use the sink in the kitchen? Whoo! So I was trying to embrace Dutch, the Dutch experience. I was trying to embrace the Dutch experience. I was like, okay. So then I said, so where's the shower? So she said, well, the shower is upstairs. So I'm like, wait a minute, we just did the Dutch stairs. The toilet is here at the top of the stairs. You go through the other door and you go into the main space, which was like a combination dining and living room area, and then off to the side was the kitchen, right? So I was like, okay. And then I see this like box thing over the sink area, and she explained that was the water heater. And I was like, okay, all right. So I'm like getting this. So she had said upstairs. So there was a closet door, and then there was another door. So through this other door was where you had to go up more Dutch stairs, and this is where her sleeping area was. So technically what it was a one bedroom, but it had like an alcove. So this upstairs part, it's where all the, I guess they call those gables, where all the, the with a room with the roof comes together like this, right? So there's these couple of, it's like a smaller one and then a larger one. So the larger one is actually where her bedroom is, but it's still a gable, right? So you know that the space on the sides isn't really like usable space, but it can be like closet space. And then this other smaller gable, I hope I'm using the right word, but anyway, the smaller one is actually where her daughter slept, where her bed area was. It wasn't like a separate room per se, but it was like an alcove. And she had a young daughter. Maybe she was like eight-ish at the time, and maybe 10. I can't remember exactly, but she was young. And she had all her toys and her bed, and she had her own little space. It was really, really nicely set up. And it was up here that off to the side with another, like I said, what its gable is, right? So you had to kind of, it was the shower, and I could only use like the very close part to the where the water came down, where the actual what do you call that? The shower head, where the shower head came down. I could only really use that because the area was so small. But Vilma was a very petite woman, so not a problem for her. But yeah, so this was really interesting to me. So there was a sink up there. But no toilet. And there was a shower up there. So this was really interesting to me. So I was like, in the middle of the night, you got to come down these stairs and go out the door and just to go to the bath. And I was just like, this is interesting, And so anyway, I was sleeping on the couch, which was downstairs, like next in the living room. So so I was actually quite close to the toilet, but I still had the issue with the, I had to, wash my hands in the kitchen sink or whatever. So, which apparently is not like a shocking thing. I mean, growing up, I was kind of made to believe that, you only wash dishes in the sink and you had to do everything else in the bathroom. And, so it was a learning experience for me that everybody doesn't necessarily have the same fears or feelings about, how you wash your hands or whatever. So it was, it was really interesting. So, pretty much, this was the interesting thing. She had a great relationship with her ex-husband, and the ex-husband picks the daughter up from school, and so she would take her daughter to school. The ex-husband picks the daughter up. That way that they both have a chance to spend a lot of quality time with the daughter every day. I thought that was wonderful. They were very friendly, and when she had told him that I was going to be there, when he came and brought the daughter home, he brought all these different Dutch cheeses, because they're very well known for cheese in the Netherlands, and they have a lot of pasture land. And so brought all these different Dutch cheeses and breads and things for me to try, and the jams and things, and it was just so nice. And so we all sat down there, and that's how I met the daughter. And we all just sat and talked about different things. And this is where I really find out that how politically astute they are. They're very involved in community. They're very much into human rights, and which I thought was very fitting because of Den Haag, right? The international courts and such, right? So they knew every case of, like genocide and war crimes, and they just were, oh my gosh, it was just phenomenal. When I tell you phenomenal, phenomenal. So this was the first day, and like I said, we had these cheeses, and we had wine. I forgot to mention that. We had wine and cheese and bread and some, it was some meat. We had some kind of meat. I can't remember, but this was my first experience with crunchy cheese. Did you know that they had cheese that it was like crunchy? And it's crunchy because of the salt crystals that are in the cheese. So I never knew that I had such a love for cheese, honestly, because like in the US, the cheeses that we typically know are like cheddar, Swiss, American, which everybody tells me is not really cheese. Everywhere else I've been. I'm just saying. So you can't really find it. Like, it's hilarious. But you definitely can't find like the processed cheese food slices. Like, that's a big fat no. Like you might could find the hard American cheese, not hard, but the what I'm talking about, the one that you slice off the block, that one. You might be able to find that, but as far as finding slices, like, that's a big fat no. They tell you that's not cheese. So, but anyway, this was my first experience with something outside of, like, let's say mozzarella and Swiss cheese, American cheese, and my favorite, which is cheddar. So it really pushed me like outside the box to try some softer cheeses and some harder cheeses like that I had just never really had before. And yeah, to sort of embrace oatmeal. Of course, we have blue cheese in the U.S., but the blue cheese that we have in the U.S. is way much more tame than a lot of cheeses I've had subsequently. Like when I was in France, like, yeah. So anyway, the cheese game in the Netherlands is amazing. The cheese game is amazing. And yeah, so I was exposed to a lot, and it was wonderful. So like I said, I think maybe that was a Thursday. Maybe that was a Thursday. I'm not sure. But anyway, good day, great experience. It was just wonderful. The next day, she was going to take me out to experience real life in town. So she breaks out her bike. So usually, people would kind of, even two people would get on one bike and, go where they're going. She only had one bike and her daughter's bike, right? Like, clearly I couldn't and she couldn't. It was just not happening. So, but, she's like, yeah, we'll do this. And I was like, oh no, we'll walk. At this point, I hadn't been on a bike in at least 25 years. I'm going to say like 25 years. I hadn't been on a bike. So I was like, no, thank you. She ended up having to put the bike away because I tried. I just couldn't. I just couldn't. I just couldn't wrap my mind around it. I was like, I'd rather walk. So we ended up walking. And we had a very, because she's typically used to walking at a brisk pace, but she slowed it down for me, which was really nice, and took me all around. And we went to like the sort of the main square area. She took me by where the court, the major court was, and it was a sunny day. It was a really nice sunny day, and they had some restaurants that were, open air restaurants, and you could sit out there and enjoy some food and music, and it was just like a huge sense of community. And one thing that I was really impressed to see was that Den Haag was a very diversity. There were people from all walks of life and every different culture. It was wonderful. It was really nice. I felt like at home. I felt very comfortable, and even though it wasn't a big city, but it was a really nice city. Like, I definitely could have spent some serious time there. Not that there was like so much to do per se, but it was more that the community was really interwoven. There were so many different kinds of food, which that was one thing that we did. We really did like the street food, because they do something that's a little odd to Americans. We big, and I am team ketchup, but they eat their fries with mayonnaise. So that was like, what? Yeah, I was like, what in the world? And yeah, that took a minute, but the mayonnaise is actually different. The mayonnaise is a little bit sweeter, and it's really like thick, but like for us, like the mayonnaise is like a little like almost heavy, but this is like real smooth and creamy and like a little sweeter, and it actually tasted quite good. I'm not even gonna lie. It tasted quite good to have these fries, these really thin fries, dipped in the mayonnaise, because I wanted to do things like in the traditional Dutch way, and so I had the opportunity to do that, and so that was really nice. And I also fell in love with these. I forget. Well, they call them croquettes, but they were like, they could be potato or have some meat, like ground meat kind of, and or potato or something like inside, and then they were like breaded on the outside, like with like breadcrumbs or panko or something. I don't know, but they're really crispy, and I really like things that have like the contrast of soft and crispy, and so I love those. I was like, oh, and you can find them everywhere, everywhere. The one thing that I did try that was like, I was like looking at her a little sideways, was they eat herring. Not so much. And I love fish, but this herring was, they eat it with, it's like with onions or something. And yeah, it was a big no for me. I mean, I did it, but for the experience, but I didn't love it. I didn't love it. I did, however, like enjoy the kippers. Like, I had heard of kippers before, but I think they were smoked. I think I had smoked kippers, and they were fine. That was fine. So I was embracing the whole Dutch culture thing. I was embracing the food and the way of life, which was way healthier. It was a lot of walking, a lot of bike riding. Like, I mean, there was 100 bikes to one car, for sure. At least it was bikes and bikes and bikes and bikes, and like these serious bike paths, and and you really paid attention to the people who were walking and biking, and it was just really nice. It was really nice. So so there was that day that we were out, and then there was an event that she was going to with her sister, and I got to meet her sister, and they surprised me with a ticket to go to this party, and I think it was like a 70s or 80s party. It was 70s or 80s, and but I remember that there was a lot of ABBA being played, and so I was in there, Dancing Queen and Fernando and the whole, yeah. I was so welcomed, and it was just a wonderful experience. So I don't know how it is at this moment, after we've endured the whole COVID thing and just a variety of other situations that have happened, but my couch surfing experience was phenomenal. When I left, I was definitely very sad to go, because Dylan was a great host, and her family totally embraced me, and I got the biggest hug from her daughter when I left, and who is now a grown woman, I just want to say. And I'm not sure if she's still, because I feel like at one point the daughter had moved to Paris, but I can't recall exactly. But the thing that's really nice is that we are still Facebook friends to this very day. And because her birthday, that was another thing I forgot to mention. Her birthday, Wilma's birthday, was the day after mine, and I think that was another reason why she decided to host me during the week when she doesn't normally do it, because she felt like, oh, she's got to be a good spirit like I am. And she was right. We were both very similar, and had the quirky sense of humor, and we're just interested in a variety of things and true life experiences. And and it was really nice because she wanted to learn from me just like I wanted to learn from her. And it was amazing. The conversations that I had with her and her ex-husband and her sister, and the food that I was able to eat, and the things I was able to enjoy. This is the thing about being immersed in community as opposed to staying in a hotel. You really get a chance to see like life up close, and you get to feel like you're part of it. And it was absolutely wonderful, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was the best, and it worked out for me. It really worked out for me. To me, the person hosting really, I mean, it's the trust has to be a two-way street for sure. But when she would go to take her daughter to school, she was leaving me in her home, by myself, and she didn't know what I would do or what, she just had to just feel comfortable. And I'm so glad that she did feel comfortable, that she felt like I was a trustworthy person, and that she was glad that she hosted me. And like I said, we still have kept in contact every year, because as I said, our birthdays are one day apart. So and eventually she moved to Malta, but yeah, she was Dutch, and I got to meet her in Den Haag, and it was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, yeah, if you are ever considering cost-saving measures such as Couchsurfing, to keep this in mind, that I did it and I had an amazing experience. So, anyway, this one went a little longer than I have been trying to keep them. Recently I was trying to keep it a little shorter, but since it was my first one really back, although I'm not quite 100%, I'm feeling like 75-80. I'm feeling pretty good. So I wanted to share a real experience that I had, and give you some valuable information about couch surfing. And I believe it's Couchsurfing. I don't know if it's couchsurfing.com or couchsurfing.org, but if you Google Couchsurfing, one word, you will be able to get more information on Couchsurfing. So I hope that you have a wonderful travel experience, and I hope that you were able to discern something from mine. And yeah, I'm just glad that you were here and you stayed this long. So, as you know, I like to say, it is very important that we take care of the good old YouTube business, which is, please, if you haven't done so already, like this video, share this video with someone who might get something from it, or just enjoy its entertainment value, because of course it's me. And comment below, tell me if you would actually do the couch surfing thing, stay at somebody's house that you don't know, and for a few days, and see how that would roll. And like, comment, share, and the other part, subscribe. Okay, yes. Yeah, it feels good to be back. My head's a little but I would always like to say, until we meet again, do good and be better. I used to say do good and be good, but now I'm stepping the game up a little bit. Do good and be better. Okay? We want to be a better version of ourselves today than we were yesterday, and be an even better version tomorrow. Okay? So that part is out of the way. And again, it has meant the world to me that I get to share my world with you. So until next time, ciao for now.